What is up, everybody? Welcome to what is now called the Fit and Free podcast. So, if you have been listening before, a little bit of a name change. We weren't sure when we were going to pull the Band-Aid off, but we're doing it because you just got to take that action step, right? Um, but ultimately, we thought a lot about what we want the name of this to be go forward. Because we didn't feel like it was necessarily encompassing everything that we talked about, because we're talking about a lot of different things here. But ultimately, what we really want is to help you build, really a fit body and a free mind, right? Like, as the simplest way I would put it is being able to achieve your physical goals without destroying your mental health. Because both are important. I think my personal opinion is it's very hard to have one while completely neglecting the other. And so when we think about like everything we encompass here, we want to get you fit and we might want to make you feel free.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like even improving mental health like crazy along the way is very realistic and very doable and a huge part of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And the word free or like freedom around food and fitness, dude, how many times do you hear that from your clients?
Yeah, it's everything. I mean, that's the thing
Yeah.
is like, I feel like the vast majority of transformations is like people are like, hey, look, I lost some weight. I like how I look in pictures and how my clothes feel. But man, the real transformation is like, I just finally feel free
Yeah.
from the diet mindset, from the constant worrying about, what you're eating, and all those pieces it's hard to even like put into words unless you have actually experienced that yourself. But that's the coolest message that anyone can send.
And that's the thing you can't see in the before and afters,
Yeah.
like that's that's everything. And the body transformation can change. The mindset can't. Like once you make the mindset changes, they don't go anywhere.
Yep.
You might go through a rough patch that it gets challenged more, but it doesn't your mindset change and improvement can't go backwards. Like
Yep.
I don't think it possibly can.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the stages that we talked about, right? Like once you get to stage 2, you're not going back to stage 1.
Right.
And then once you get to
Right.
stage 4, the freedom stage, right? I think it's very hard to go back to the other stages. You might go back to them for like a phase. If you're like, hey, I'm going to really dial in my nutrition, like maybe it serves you to really go back into stage 3 for a
Yeah.
little bit. But I think it's hard once you realize like, oh, I can be like relatively fit and healthy and still like enjoy meals out and go on vacation and have ice cream with my kids, and like it's fine. Like it's
Yeah.
like almost kind of like a why would I stress about all that stuff?
Yeah, dude. 100%. I temporarily, I'm sure this will change. But speaking of not going back, I texted you, I did a kettlebell workout outside yesterday, and I've been playing around with programming that out for this summer, and I'm
Nice.
really excited about it, dude. Something
Yeah.
about working out outside is just,
Yeah.
you can't beat it.
Barefoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get those electrons from the earth, get the grounding in.
Yeah. The rooting.
Yeah, the root the rooting, the soaking.
For anyone listening, I said at one, me and Brooks were texting back and forth, chatting about, I don't even remember what the hell we were talking about,
I
but
have no idea.
I said something about rooting. And then he's like, wait, what is that? Like it was a legitimate, like,
Like, what are you
I
talking
was like, I
about?
have no idea. I'm just making, I'm just laughing about stuff, but it
Yeah.
sounds real.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we could just start it right now.
Yeah.
It's anti-inflammatory
Oh, for sure.
for
Anti-inflammatory.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It helps with blood sugar, helps with your cortisol,
Mhm.
resets your metabolism and your hormones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Lymphatic drainage.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love lymphatic drainage.
Yeah. Love it.
It's great. Yeah, root
Rooting,
for 57 seconds.
facing north.
Facing north.
And if you want our rooting ebook 101, it's $7,000. So
Okay. All right.
that was
we
all a
got
joke, by the way, if you're
that
new
was
here.
yeah. Unless you're interested,
Yeah. We'll
then
take the money.
yeah, we'll take it. We need it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do you want to do some Q&A today?
Yeah, dude.
All right.
Let's do it.
So we're going to do some questions that is kind of cool. I thought instead of like I feel like so many people will get like questions from followers or, Instagram. I was like, why don't we get questions from our clients?
Yes.
Right? Like just literally just take the conversations we're having on a daily basis with the people we work with and bring out what are the most common ones because I think number one is great for other clients to hear these and think, oh, other people also struggle with this.
Yeah.
But number two, I think there's even for a lot of people who are listening, like I would imagine these are questions that a lot of people are wondering about, right? So, okay, so question one is really around scale fluctuations. So the question, trying to paraphrase this, was I'm doing everything right and the scale went up 2 pounds randomly last night. And now I'm right back where I started. And it feels defeating. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Mm.
So take that premise, right? Which is an incredibly common premise.
Yes. Huge.
But where does your head initially go when you hear that?
In my own mind, before I say anything back to the client, my head goes to what's your average weight for the last 7 days compared to your average weight for a 7-day average a month ago. That's where I go first. And the reason for that is there's a lot of stuff going on in your body. A lot of stuff, digestion, water. I mean, your body's what, 60% water or something is what everyone says. Your hydration changes. The amount of salt in your food that you eat changes, and that impacts how much water you're holding on to. There's so many moving parts, and then digestion in general. So honestly, like on any given day, the scale being up or down, even honestly up to even like 4, maybe 5 pounds if you went on vacation could be completely not actual fat or muscle tissue. So that's number one. Number two is we got to get real about how much of a calorie change it actually takes to gain or lose a pound.
Mm.
And I know you have this one very well rehearsed, so I'll let you tackle that.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a little bit nuanced, and I think we actually spoke about this in the last episode a little bit, but essentially from a raw basic science perspective, 1 pound of gaining body fat or losing body fat is roughly around 3,500 calories over or under your maintenance. So meaning if I were to eat 3,500 calories higher than what my maintenance is, right? So like, let's say someone's maintenance is 2,000 calories. That means I would have to eat, that person would have to eat 5,500 calories in a day to actually gain 1 pound of body fat overnight. And then like, that's just like, imagine like that person doesn't do anything, right? Doesn't walk, doesn't work out, doesn't it's just there in a lab, throw the calories on top. That's what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get into like the more kind of complicated nuance of this. because the reality is humans don't sit still.
Mm-hmm.
And also, our clients are strength training, right? So there's an element of this that what we do know from a metabolic adaptation perspective is when you increase calories and you overeat, you naturally tend to move a little bit more. And the same thing happens when you decrease calories, right? You tend to move a little bit less. And the other thing is, even if you do gain a little bit of weight, well, some of that's going to be muscle if you're strength training, right? So even then, it's not going to be all body fat. But from what the studies have shown, roughly, I mean, that 3,500 number is actually probably closer to like 5 to 7,000 in a day to actually gain 1 pound of body fat. And you could say, okay, well, what if that number is like spread out over a month, right? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, yeah, if you eat a couple hundred more calories per day, you'll gain, you can gain 1 to 2 pounds in a month.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what typically happens over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think all that is important to say that you're not gaining 2 pounds of body fat overnight. Like it's just not physically happening, right? Unless you ate, what is it? If you ate 10,000 calories,
Calories, yeah.
right? um, and maybe even more based on what I just said, that's not happening. That's over like 3 medium Papa John's pizzas.
Unless you get like crumble cookies, like I could make that happen.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding, but
And so when someone, like there's the, okay, I go out to eat. And I think like the most common things that I think is so important for someone to understand is number one, what?
well, I just looked up because like my mind went to like a Dairy Queen Blizzard.
Okay.
An Oreo Blizzard at Dairy Queen is like 1,100 calories. A large is like
1,100. Okay.
1,100 calories. So you'd have to eat 9 large. Like that's good luck,
Yes.
know? And like even at that point, my thought is like, that's a lot of dairy. Like, even if you don't have issues with dairy, like, are you really going to absorb all that? Or is your gut going to start?
Yeah.
That's not a science backed thing, but I'm just assuming that you'll start not even absorbing all of that.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So what are the most common reasons the scale actually went up?
Yeah. Sodium's big.
Mm-hmm.
So just salt intake in the day, which that's one that like just tiny side note. If you're drinking enough water and you're focusing on the things we talk about on this podcast, like eating mostly like single ingredient foods as much as you can, salt intake has been very demonized. Like when you're
Yes.
looking at a food label, a lot of people are like, yeah, look at all that sodium. I'm like, I mean, of course, if you have high blood pressure and that's a specific road you're going down, I mean, even then we could probably look at, well, if we get you enough potassium, you may not need to worry about your sodium. But sodium's big just because what does it do? It holds on to water. It's gonna lead to more water retention for you. So that's a big one. Your digestion, your bowel movements every day aren't the same size, sometimes so that and just like with the sodium is just hydration in general. So I would say it's those two things are huge.
And then I would throw in carbs.
Okay.
Every
Yeah.
every 1 gram of carb holds on to 3 to 4 grams of water.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so important is like as we're saying these things, these aren't
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. This
Like
is
I think like we associate, because I even said this to a client once, like when I was explaining this, and she's like, "Well, what do you recommend then for the foods that don't have carbs and don't?" And I'm like, "I'm not telling you to not eat. Like
right.
I'm helping you understand that it was
Just
water weight.
fluctuations. Yeah.
Like, and so the bigger problem is, why is the scale going up on one day that big of a problem that we can accept and understand this was water weight, But I would rather cut out all carbs so that I never see water weight go up again than just accept the scale fluctuations are real.
Right.
Right? It's like there's nothing wrong with the scale fluctuation. It's 100% normal for your
Yeah.
body, for your weight to swing anywhere from 2 to 5 pounds on a daily basis. And
Yeah.
and this is the biggest thing that, like, when clients come and, maybe they did Weight Watchers or something and they say, "Oh, I weigh once a week."
Yeah.
Right? Like, from my perspective, I always explain this, and I'm like, "Look, scale fluctuations are 100% normal. Totally get it," because then they're like, "Well, because if I do it more, then I freak out and, it makes me anxious." And I'm like, "But what happens when you go out for a Benihana dinner the night
That'll
before,
do it.
right? You're one weigh in,
Yeah.
and then you come in and you weigh in and it's 2 pounds up, even though it's just the extra salt in the sushi and the carbs in the rice. And now do you have the whole week to panic about
Dude,
that
yeah.
one weigh in, right? Like, so it's like, instead, weigh yourself 3 to 5 times a week and take the average. Don't let,
Mhm.
like, understand. And this exact client where this question came from, the scale did go up on Saturday and Sunday a couple pounds. When I look at the weekly average this week, it's down 2 pounds to last week,
That's always how it works. If
right?
you stick with it.
If you stick with it. That's the problem. Is that people will see the scale fluctuation go up and they're like, "Screw it, it's not even working."
Mhm.
And then it's like, "Well, what's the point?"
Yeah.
Right? But and then the other big one is stress, right? Especially if you're in a calorie deficit, which is stressful on its own, and especially if you are stressed about the scale, right? Like,
Yeah.
seeing it go, and then you're like, now you're panicking, now you're more stressed, you're holding on to more water. So it's like, you just have to normalize the fact that the scale is going to go up, it's going to come down. It's all 100% normal. All that matters is, what is your weekly average? And beyond that, what is your monthly average? And if
Yeah.
that's going down, then you're doing great.
Yeah. Dude, and a lot of people that are dropping weight or on a plan like this, they're getting into the gym and lifting weights for the first time in a
Right.
while.
Yeah.
And like that throws things off. I mean, not to mention some muscle gain, but also water retention in your muscles. And, if you're taking creatine, that can add a couple pounds to the scale from water, by the
Mhm.
way. It's not going to be
Yeah, as soon as you
tissue.
start strength training, your muscles are going to start absorbing more glycogen, and it's going to
Yeah.
start storing more glycogen because it's like, "Oh, well, shit, I need this to be able to recover for the next
Yeah.
workout if we're going to do this again." And so
Yeah.
it's super common for clients to start strength training, be in a calorie deficit, and actually not see the scale go down, or actually gain a pound or two the first, like, 3-4 weeks. But it's just because they're storing more glycogen in their muscles, and they can have that happen and then be like, "Oh, I'm down half an inch," or, "My clothes are fitting better."
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, "What is happening?" "Oh, well, because the scale's never gonna tell the full story."
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, some of that water releases, and you have what is called a whoosh effect,
Yeah.
where you literally, all of a sudden, the scale just drops 2 pounds, 3 pounds, because the water flushed out. Like, you literally feel less puffy, less squishy, like there's less water in your body.
Yeah. It's this reminds me of Dominic last summer. Dominic, shout out to you if you're listening. But Dominic is a client of mine, and last summer he was doing a June challenge for steps.
Mm,
And dude, he was getting like 30,000 steps a day. And he was keeping nutrition consistent. Like, by every metric, it was like this dude should be losing 2 pounds a week at least,
yeah.
if you took a look at everything he was doing. And the scale was just like, for the first 2 weeks, it was just hanging on.
Yep.
And of course, like, that much increase in movement might have, more inflammation, all the things we're talking about. But it was almost to the point where I was like, this is weird. Like, I have never seen it to this extreme where it's
Yeah.
just hanging on. And then within like literally a week, the scale dropped like 7 pounds a week. Oh, it was last May. So um, yeah, yeah, it went down like 5 pounds overnight one night, but like it was just wild. And
It's
it was
crazy.
like he
Yeah.
didn't change anything on the week
Right.
that it dropped 7 pounds.
Right.
But I think I always tell people, think of the changes in your scale today, not as from what you did yesterday or even this week. Think of that as the culmination of what you've started doing differently 3 to 4 weeks ago.
Yes.
Like the 3-week mark is where we really start to see the impact of changes from whatever you've been doing the last 3 weeks.
Which to that point is exactly why if a client is 1 week in, even 2 weeks in, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think? What like should we change anything?" I'm like, "I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know yet." Like we're not changing anything until we get 3,
Yeah.
4 weeks in because we have no idea yet.
Yeah. 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 It's like, this is what that's like. Let me tell you what it's like.
What is it like?
It's like you're trying to save up more money for a down deposit on a house. And you get together with your spouse and you're like, hey, let's download this app that tracks our savings and what our savings account is doing and our income and our expenses for the month. And you get paid on the 15th of the month. And you start tracking on the 2nd of the month. And 10 days go by and you're like, oh my God, we have spent $2,000 more this month than we've made. Like, we're in the hole. We're down $2,000 this month. And it's like, well, like, screw it. Like, this isn't working. It's like, well, you've been working all month and you haven't gotten paid for it yet.
Right.
So if you wait 5 days, you're going to get a paycheck that hits the account for $5,000 or something like that. So you're
Right.
actually going to be up, So that's like, getting it tracked is just the starting point. Like that is the consistency of tracking and getting it on the board is huge.
Which to that point, like I actually like the bank account example a lot because think about how crazy it would be if you looked at your bank account on a daily basis and like whenever it like went down, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We're broke. What happened? And it's like, dude, no, like, of course, like, yeah, it swings.
Like, yeah, the
some
car
days
payment
it's
came out.
up
Or the
more, some
mortgage
days,
came out.
yeah, like the only thing you can do is look at it on a monthly average.
Yes.
Right? Like
yes.
what, like that would be insane if you looked at it on a daily basis and made decisions based on that.
Yeah. Or investing. Go look at your 401k on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Good luck.
Right.
Like, have fun.
And your weight is exactly the same. So like you can either keep living in this reactionary cycle or you can just accept that that's how human physiology works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine all right, one last comment. Imagine the change in the way you're looking at this process. If you go into, this is going to come out on March 29th. So April will be starting. Imagine the change in your mindset and the way you're looking at your process. If you went into the month and said, I just want my average weight for the last week of April to be lower than my average weight for the first week of April. And that's all you worried about. Think about the pressure that would take off on April 7th when the scale is up 2 pounds versus it's like, that's all you like month by month basis.
Yep. 100%.
Like, another thing here that we need to clarify that we didn't touch, 0.5 pound a week is a fantastic rate of weight loss.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's the other thing. Like 0.5 pound to a pound is like with the vast majority of clients, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like I think you can go up to about 2 pounds per week. Cause again, go back to the math, right? If you're losing 2 pounds per week, that's about 7,000 calories.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's going to be a little bit of metabolic adaptation, right? So you're going to move a little bit less. So
works in both directions.
You might even need a little bit more than that. So 7,000 at least in a week, that's 1,000 calorie deficit per day.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're expecting, oh, but I want to be losing 3 pounds per week. I want to be losing, I wanted to lose 40 pounds in the next 2 months or 3 months, right? Like whatever it is, why? Like what, like I hear you that you want to do that. Why should you be losing weight faster? Like that's I always hear like, but I thought I'd be losing faster. Based on what?
Right. And and this is a very real, like, I think that's a massive benefit of the way we coach people is that there is zero there is not a single point in our coaching, in our clients' coaching experience, that we are judging, shaming, or guilt tripping them at all.
Yeah.
And we are very real with you about what it will take to get to your goal.
Yep.
Like, we're going to be very straight up with that. And I think it's a very necessary truth to hear, but it can be a tough one. Like, let's put pen to paper on what that actually looks like for you,
Yeah.
because for women, especially, like, a lot of you, your maintenance is 2,000 calories, 2 pounds a week. That's you'd be eating 1,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
Good luck doing that consistently. Like, and it, it's not, it's not necessary. It reminds me of the quote that's like, most people drastically overestimate what they can do in a year and drastically underestimate what they can do in 5 years, or
Mhm.
whatever the quote is. Like, so if we start expanding our time horizon, it's like all of us know how fast time goes. Like, weeks and months go by like crazy. And think about how fast weeks and months are going by when you're not on a fitness journey. And it's like, oh my God, like another 2 years has gone by, or another 2 months has gone by, and I haven't changed this yet. Imagine if you took that attitude towards half a pound a week.
Yep.
That's, what is that? 13 pounds in 6 months. That's 26 pounds in a year. A year flies by.
Yeah.
And if you can and the trick is, when you're doing it to enjoy the process and focusing every single day on, like, is this something I see myself doing for the rest of my life? Then the rush isn't even there anymore, because it's
Exactly.
like, no, this is like, who
You got this
cares?
major deadline in your head of like, I'm gonna lose all this weight in the next 3 months. And like you're white knuckling every day. You're putting so much pressure on it. And it's like, well, what do you think's gonna happen in 3 months then?
Right.
Even if you do it, right? Like you think that once you get there, it's just okay, then I'm good. Then I'm done.
Yeah.
Then I'm just gonna go back. It's like spend the time building the system, building the
Yeah.
infrastructure, building the life that actually supports your new weight,
Yeah.
right? And if you do that, who cares if it takes a little bit longer, right?
Yeah.
Like 1 pound per week is 52 pounds in a year.
Mhm.
That'd be insane,
That's so much weight.
right? Most people don't even have that much to lose. So like
Yeah.
it's I just like being able to move away from this life where the scale number just controls every single decision you make is one of the most fundamental important things you can possibly do for your overall health.
Yeah. It is ironic how our human minds work too, because it's like the people that are worried about, no, I need to lose 2 a week. It's like, how much have you lost in the last 12 weeks? And it's 0 if you're in that position. Like,
Right.
it's very rarely the person losing 1 pound a week on average for 3 months in a row that's like, "No, I need to lose 2."
Right,
It's the
right.
person that hasn't lost any, and
Exactly.
and
Or they
that's
have and they gained it back.
right, and that's kind of the problem, or it
Yeah.
is the problem.
Which monthly averages help you with that, right?
Yeah,
Because then if you're like, oh, but I lost 5 pounds that one week. Yeah.
yeah,
And then what happened the rest of the other 3 weeks of the month, right?
mhm,
Like versus the person who lost 1 pound per week, they're down 4 pounds on their monthly average.
mhm.
Okay. We spent a lot of time on that one, but that was an important one. So let's try to do a little bit more rapid fire on the other ones here. Um, okay. This was from a client who has a vacation coming up, and it was such a great context check-in, because she just started, and she was saying, I have a vacation with my kids coming up, and I am worried about how I'm going to be able to stick to my goals, um, and all the foods that I can't eat when I'm there. Like, I'm already thinking about amusement park, fries, the pizza, the ice cream, and we haven't even gone yet, and I already feel deprived.
Mm.
So, I think the common theme around this, many clients ask about is like, how do I eat out and actually enjoy it without it wrecking my progress?
Okay, my first answer to this is not going to be tactical at all. And I'm going to say to this client, the fact that you have recognized the pattern that you're feeling deprived before you even got there is a wonderful sign.
Yes.
That alone, that skill, or whatever you want to call that, even that self awareness, that paired with time and experience in the cockpit or in the saddle is all you need to eventually be able to enjoy yourself without feeling deprived. So that's number one. Because you'll learn. No matter there, I wouldn't guarantee that you'll not gain weight during this trip. I won't guarantee you won't lose some progress during this trip. But what I can guarantee with that mindset is that you will learn from this trip and you will be closer to where you want to eventually get to on the other end of it.
Mhm.
Uh, oh, there's a lot of different ways to go with this.
Yeah.
Most vacations for my clients, I'm like, okay, my goal for you is not to be dieting on vacations ruins diets and vacations is my favorite quote. I don't even know where I heard it. Like, so I usually am like, let's use this as practice for later, for your maintenance phase of your intuitive eating later. And that doesn't mean free for all. It means the opposite. Uh, Dude, what's popping in really strong for me right now is there's a massive underlying assumption that a lot of people take. And I almost even I just did kind of take this assumption as well. Why are we equating any presence of a feeling of quote unquote deprivation from food with your enjoyment of a vacation?
Mm.
Like that's almost like labeling hunger as a problem, you know? It's almost
Mhm.
labeling. So my mind's going there right now of like, what if we take the stigma out of if I feel deprived at any point and can't have something? That might be another podcast. Okay. Number one, let's not have anything off limits. Like if and I that can be scary. Like that can be extremely scary because whoa. Like the last time I had no limits, I ate 10,000 calories. I ate 9 Dairy Queen Blizzards in one sitting and gained a pound. Um, if we go into it with this is my choice, that's huge because if it's not your choice, you're going to rebel and it's going to be uncomfortable. It's just going to be a whole thing. And that's what's going to lead to the massive off trackness and revolting. So, um, from there, I would plan on what's your favorite thing that you want to enjoy while you're there? Like pick a couple things and let's pre-plan and get real about this. Um, Maybe it's looking like, hey, I would say let's realistically say you're going to maintain, or maybe the scale will be up a little bit on your trip, but let's not be thinking you're going to be losing body fat while you're on vacation. And that opens up a lot, right? Because maintenance is a lot more wiggle room. So if you're in a weight loss phase with us, your calories are probably a considerable few hundred, if not 500 under your maintenance. So that right there is going to buy you back a lot of wiggle room. And then let's work backwards, right? Let's throw, I'm not saying you need to track while you're there, but let's maybe do a sample day. Like, let's play around with this. What would this look like? What would still getting 100 grams of protein in your day and enjoying your funnel cake or your whatever it may be, and just get a rough idea to pre-plan that and just see like, hey, let's bring awareness to whatever it is. And I'm not saying you're not going to eat more than that. You might, but you're also going to be walking a ton if you're at like Disney World or something like that. And focusing on that can take a huge amount of pressure off of this. So yeah, where do you want to go from? I just threw a lot of different angles out.
I love all that. I think there's a couple of things, like when I hear, okay, there's all these foods I want to eat and I can't eat them because I'm doing this diet or this program.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm not even thinking about it to start about like, oh my God, this is going to be so hard to hit my calorie goal. The first place I go is in your head, you've already created rules around these foods are good and these foods are bad.
And pressure.
And if I eat pizza, if I eat ice cream, I'm not doing this program properly. I'm not doing this diet properly. But the reality is, it all comes down to calories, right? Like from a total, like if your goal is weight loss, that's going to be driven by calories, and that the pizza can fit in there, the ice cream can fit in there. Like they might be different portions, but it could all fit in there. And so like, I think there's an underlying piece of this to even start that's like, let's remove this whole idea that like there's certain foods while I'm doing this I'm allowed to eat, and I say this because I had more context that like this was kind of from other comments was bleeding into like on a daily basis too. That like it was all about like eating the right foods. That like what we actually did was I was like, I want you to literally save 200 calories every single day for something that has nothing to do with your goals. Like, I just want you to just throw in a treat, just something enjoyable, because like, I want you to start feeling that like the release of that pressure. Right. And so like that all being said, then you get to the actual vacation part and it's like, let's also address that the goal on your vacation is not to lose weight. Right? Like, like go into it. And even if you go completely off the rails and you do eat 10,000 calories a day or whatever, and you gain 2 pounds of body fat because you're there for a couple of days, right? Like, so what?
Yeah.
Like we're doing this for a long ass time, right? So, so take the pressure off. You can't do that much damage. You can't screw it all up. And then like, I think being able to start with that to take the pressure away makes it so much easier to actually enjoy yourself, because like you said, what happens is when we go into pressure, we go in thinking I can't eat any of these foods. The second you break those imaginary rules you create in your head is when everything goes off the rails, right? Dude. And you almost go the polar opposite extreme because you're like, I can't eat these fries. I'm going to eat more of the fries, right? Yeah. Like,
dude, it's wild.
It's what happens.
Yes. And you're doing it. And you're like, I can't do this.
I'm such a piece of shit. Yeah. Like it's, and like, dude, like we're laughing because like we felt that before many, many times.
Dude, you turn into a freaking animal. Like it's.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always like the rabid banshee.
Yeah. I say gremlin, dude. Like, hey, don't get it wet or else. Like it. And it's so funny because it's like, I thought of this analogy the other day because I don't think it really drives home when people are thinking about like using their rational brain to control their subconscious mind. Or their reptilian brain, like the equivalent of that is like, and this seems extreme, but it's literally what you're trying to do when you're trying to override your body. Hold your breath until you die. Like try to hold your breath to die.
Right.
You cannot do, like, you physically cannot do that.
You'll pass out first.
You'll pass out, or your body will just take a breath anyways. It doesn't care that you want to hold your breath.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're trying to do when you're trying to override your body and like force willpower.
Yeah.
And for some reason we think we should be able to do that. It's like, you can't. It's like, or like at the doctor when they tap your knee, the reflex, like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Good luck, you know?
Yep.
Sorry, were you still going on that? Because I have things to add to this, but go ahead.
I was going to talk tactical. So if you want to add something else.
Well, I really think so number one, the whole imaginary rules, it's so real. You are the only because it's like I think it's very important to accept that you actually can. Like, I can't keep living this way. That puts so much pressure on yourself. You flip that to can. I can keep living this way. I mean, you have been. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it might not look the way you want, but like we have to accept that this is a choice you're making. Like you have to. And if as long as you keep living as if someone else is telling you how you cannot or can live, you're not connected to yourself and what you truly want. So I think it's very important actually, like you mentioned, like let's accept the worst case scenario. You technically can. There's no one stopping you from going on your vacation and eating a disgusting amount of food and gaining 5 or 10 pounds, whether or not that's tissue or not. Like, you can do that if you want to. And then it becomes like, okay, like that, and a lot of people have done that before. It's like, have you done that before? Are you still alive? Like, yeah, you might have beat yourself up, which is something else we can work on. However, you're probably going to beat yourself up less if you actually give yourself permission. And then, but were you okay? Did you die? Like, you're still here. You ended up okay. It might have been rough, but at least now we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, I could do that. And then it's like, do I want to do that though?
Right.
And that's where it becomes, what do I want?
Right.
And it's probably enjoyment of this vacation.
Right.
And it's probably enjoyment of the food you are going to have either way, instead of just like hating yourself for eating it. And so I think that exercise of like, can you accept that the worst case scenario, can you trust fall a little bit here and then just accept that worst case scenario is a possibility, but knowing that you will learn from it and it'll be okay, really. Yeah, it's just a fascinating, I had a weird, I'll be really quick with this. I had a weird light bulb with this with alcohol for myself, because like I really in the past have struggled with balance with alcohol. And like, we had a wedding a couple of years ago that I was going into it and I was having so much anxiety about like, should I drink or should I not drink? And it was either one. And I like went for a really long walk with the dogs and I was just sitting with that. I was like, what is this pressure? And I started going down the road of like, what do I want? And it was a weird, huge light bulb for me of like, it was from high school. It was from this like rebellious, like, I'm going to drink if I want, like teachers or parents or whoever, like, I'm going to do this. You can't stop me. And then I was taking on internally that you can't drink or you can't get drunk, or it was a weird observation of like the parts within myself. So then I was like, all right, dude, what do you want this weekend? Like, what do you want from this? And it was just like, well, I just want to have a good time. I want to have fun.
Right.
And then like the answer kind of naturally arose of like, hey, yeah, we'll have some alcoholic drinks. But it took off the pressure of you can't have it. And then I didn't end up like drinking as much. It's just fascinating when we take that pressure off ourselves that we're the ones doing it. Like it's you. Well, it's not you. You adopted it from someone else, but that person isn't here anymore. If you're listening to this, you're an adult, I assume.
Hopefully.
It's like Izzy and Mila are just like,
what are they
I can do whatever I want. Yeah. So that's, yeah.
I love that last piece because it is so important. Like if you can go into the vacation with, instead of, oh my God, I'm going to screw all this up. I can't eat any of that. And you flip it to like, I want to enjoy my vacation.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now let's build a strategy, because I don't think it's going to be super enjoyable if like you're eating 10,000 calories worth of food.
Right.
You're probably going to feel like shit, right? Like that's the reality. And so from like a tactical perspective, what I would then tell clients is, hey, instead of like worrying about like, I can't eat that, I can't eat this, like, let's make sure that you actually feel full when you eat something, right? Because if all you eat is a basket of fries, you're gonna be hungry 20 minutes later, and that's not gonna be fun. Your blood sugar is probably gonna crash, right? You're gonna be tired.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have time. You're not gonna enjoy that time with your kids. So like, become a protein and veggie hunter, right? Of like every meal, how can I at least get a little bit of protein on my plate? How can I at least get a little bit of veggies or fruit on my plate, right? Like just get it on there, and then whatever else you want to enjoy it, right? So like, but at least those veggies, the veggies and the protein is going to help you make sure you don't crash after the meal, and it's going to help you actually stay full. And so like, you want to enjoy a slice of pizza, you want to enjoy some fries, go for it, right? But like, that's the only thing I say is like, hey, let's at least try to get some veggies and protein on each plate. And then, you know what, if it doesn't happen some meals, it doesn't happen. It's not a gigantic deal, right? And if you're coming home after dinner and you're passing a gelato shop with your kids and they're like, oh my God, look at all those flavors, that looks so good, and you're like, oh, but there's no protein, shut up, eat the gelato. Like, you know, like just like that is, you are, in 10 years from now, you're never going to think about, damn it, if I just skipped that gelato, like I would
That's
have
600 calories on May 17th in 2025 that I ate from that ice cream. God damn it.
Yeah, like I never have thought about that from our honeymoon in Greece of like, oh my God, we could have skipped, but I will always have the memory of us passing a random Euro shop and just like sitting on a curb in an alley and just pounding, with like a fresh Diet Coke, and it was like, it was amazing. And I'd never thought about like, damn, I would be so much leaner if I just skipped that, you know? So
yeah, and another piece to all of this is, like you mentioned earlier, your weight isn't linear throughout the year. In a world where you are like, let's zoom way out. In a world where you're maintaining your weight over the long haul, it is totally normal to have November and December and July and June and whatever your vacations are with your family to maybe go up a couple pounds. And then in January, February, March, naturally come down a couple pounds. And like, I think most people would accept the trade-off of like, hey, if I gain a couple pounds the month of my vacation with my family each year, but I get to enjoy some ice cream and I get to enjoy myself, and it gives me the wiggle room not to be obsessing and to actually be here for it. Hell yeah, that's worth, a little extra oversight and tracking to me in the months where there isn't much going on, and I can, bring that scale right back down. But honestly, I think when you take this pressure off, it naturally happens anyways. You wouldn't even have to be like, okay, I'm going to, lose 2 pounds in February next year to make up for my vacation in December. Like, no, like you'll just naturally be up and down throughout the year, but it'll be a net positive or a net maintenance overall.
Yep. Okay, should we do one more?
Sure.
Okay, so this was from a client. This is a super interesting one, and I feel like the whole context is important for this specific example, but it also brings up just like a good overall topic. So she had said that as I'm going through this program, like I'm feeling great. I'm eating all this protein is really helping me feel less hungry. And I'm enjoying my new eating patterns. I feel like I'm snacking way less often. I feel like I have less cravings. My meals are bigger, but it seems to be helping overall. And she said, but my husband keeps making comments about how our meals are so big and all we do is eat all the time. Which is, she said, which is strange because I then go to bed and I can hear him snacking downstairs. And so, but like the question was basically like, how do you, so like I'm doing all these things, but how do you deal with negative Nellies that don't really understand what you're doing or why you're doing it? Where do you want to go with this?
That's hilarious.
It was. I was like, wow, this is such like there's so much in there.
I feel like this has nothing to do with the food or the fitness either, you
Okay, why do you
know?
say that?
Well, my mind just goes to, like, does your husband actually mean anything by that, or are you taking it that way?
Oh, okay.
Like, is there a how much of that is him actually, like, implying or insinuating something, and how much of it is a bit of insecurity around, like, owning this new version of yourself that or owning yourself in general and, doing something different than people around you and,
Mm,
them maybe I mean, the bottom line is, and I think most people know this rationally, 99%, if not 100% of those comments are other people's insecurities about what they're doing with their food.
yeah, that's where I
Um,
went.
and they just project it onto you. Uh, so just knowing that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be like totally okay with it, but that's a great opportunity to work on like, what's going on here? Like, what am I actually feeling here?
Mhm,
Cuz usually that goes back to like, are we okay being different, being, or even are we okay with someone not being okay with how we're living our life,
mm,
Uh and what we're doing. And which is a very common thing, dude. I notice that myself all the time. And uh like Mal and I talk about it with, it's very normal, but what is what is showing up in this moment like for me, and can I be okay with that feeling
yeah,
of, someone not approving of me, really?
mhm.
Yeah. Where else did you go?
Um, I completely agree with you said, and I really thought about, like, negative Nellies in general.
Yeah.
Like, it goes back to, what's the dude's name? Joe
Hudson.
Joe Hudson, okay, yeah, so, like, something that he had said that really stuck with me was actually, now I don't even know if he said this. Somebody said
You
I
said it.
I
Just
said it.
yeah, just take it.
But the idea of if you whenever you feel judgment, like, if you're
Mm,
judging someone else, if you had to take that emotion and say, "Okay, you can't feel this emotion, you had to replace it with something else," what would be the next emotion you feel? And that is usually what you're actually feeling.
yeah.
Because
You're
when we
avoiding.
judge somebody else, it's oftentimes a reflection of something that we are actually judging within ourselves, like a part of ourselves that we don't like. And so when that part about when I go to bed and I hear him snacking, I was like, oh, okay. So when you guys are together, there's for some reason a feeling of I don't want to be seen eating this much. But then when everyone's gone and I'm alone, the snacks come out, right? And I'm like, I've been that person. I've literally been that person that's like when I'm with somebody and we're eating a meals, like I'm like, oh, but I don't know if I don't need that much. I don't like that's too much food. Like I don't need that much. And then it's like when there's no one around, the chips come out and the candy comes out, and I'm like, at the end of the day, he's probably actually under eating. You know, because he's unless he's gaining weight actively, he's at
Mhm.
maintenance. So he's
Right.
just literally filling those calories later with snacks, but then like probably has this piece of him that ends up eating a bunch of snacks at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and then wakes up in the morning, feels terrible about it,
Mhm.
which by the way, men never talk about this, right? But it's something that men feel too. And then so then the next day you start eating your meals and you're like, "Well, I ate all that last night. I don't need such a big meal today, right?" And then but then your wife is sitting there like actually eating bigger meals, protein, etc. And you're like, why don't like we don't need all this, right? And so like you're kind of perpetuating the same cycle of this weird shame
Mhm.
and you're casting that judgment on somebody else of like, we don't you don't why are we eating all this food?
Yeah.
Right? Versus just being like, I'm not that hungry right now. I'm not gonna eat this whole meal. Like
Yeah.
you'd rather throw it on somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like yeah, it's so common. And yeah, just every time he's seeing her take care of herself with these healthy foods. It's a reminder, and it's just not dealing with the feeling of, like you just mentioned, that is being avoided. So it's not me, it's you.
Yes.
Uh,
You're the reason I feel this way.
yeah, yeah. Which is like, gosh, once you start noticing that, it's like, this is the paradox for me with like anything related to this stuff, is like, it seems so obvious in retrospect, but it's not when you're in it. Like it's bottom line. Like, it's like, no, this is how things are. You made me feel that way. And that actually reminds me of something I was going to throw in earlier when you were talking about like the scale, how it's like, oh, I can't weigh every day because it makes me anxious. Think about that statement. Like, the bottom line definition of like a good life well lived, or happiness, or joy, or, peace, or enjoyment, is you want to be and feel okay regardless of what's going on around you. And that statement is, this thing external of me makes me feel a certain way. It's the same thing as projecting onto another person.
Yep.
So, like, what sounds easier?
Yeah.
Hiding the scale in the bathroom and unlocking it every week to weigh in one time, and then, creating this huge, it's a monster in the closet? Or like, how about we just tune into, why is that? I mean, it's just numbers on a little screen. They're just lines.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, like, what if it was Chinese on the thing and you didn't know Chinese? Like, I don't know if any of our listeners do know Chinese. I don't know if I needed to throw that in there, but like, if it was in Chinese, would it bother you? No.
Right.
Like, you're still looking at the scale and the screen. It's your interpretation about what it means about you.
Yeah.
So what is that? What's going on?
Yeah.
Why do we need this to say a certain thing to make us feel okay? And that's like the whole game, right? So being able to, and that's one I hear a lot from people I talk to. I can't include sugar. I just need to cut it out entirely, because it's like, well, maybe that's the problem, right? Like, maybe you saying that and believing that about yourself is the problem, not the actual sugar. Like, that's the definition of like, this is just the way I am, versus, well, how about we consider, like, doesn't it sound a lot easier just to deal with that directly, that belief and that feeling that comes up inside of you, instead of trying to create all these external conditions that probably aren't that realistic? Like, are you going to cut sugar out for the rest of your life? Like, that's a very daunting task, versus just, hey, what's going on?
Yeah. The negative Nelly part too, like, it's the best, like the easiest example I could think of too, when you are judging other people.
Yeah.
Like, the example of, you have a friend or somebody sends you like, hey, we just bought a house, right? And they send you and you're like, congrats, man, that's amazing. Like, so happy for you guys. And then you look at the link, right? Like, of like, you start scrolling through their pictures, and you're like, oh, it's like super nice. And then like in your head, you're kind of going, oh, but it's a small bathroom. Right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, no, it is nice, but like, and like, and you're going through and you're like, wait, but why? I'm supposed to just be happy for this person. And it's like, well, what is that? It's just jealousy,
Yeah.
right? Like, you're just like, oh, oh, they bought a new house. That's sweet. That's awesome. And in your head, you're trying to rationalize at the same time, like, but my decision is good too.
But what about
Right?
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, like, and so like, it's just funny because it's the same. It's like, that example can be carried into so many other things, that like, you just don't like the feeling of jealousy. You don't like
Right.
the feeling of shame. Right. And so like, you're trying to find ways to cast it onto somebody else to avoid just feeling that, of like, damn, my friend bought a sick house. I wish I had that.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it is.
Dude, that is so important, because I think a major misconception, at least that I had for the longest time, there's an underlying, because at first it's like, you discover, oh, that's jealous. Like, I'm feeling jealousy. But then great example. It's not okay. It's not okay to be jealous. So
Right.
then there's shame and guilt about the jealousy.
Right.
And that's where like a big leap took place for me where, oh, wait, it's not because I took that to mean something about me. Oh, I'm jealous. Like I'm not.
Everybody else is so happy for them,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I should be feeling this. So then it just adds another layer. But instead, hey, can I love the shit out of the fact that I'm jealous? Like, can I
Yeah.
welcome that? Can I fully feel that?
And can you be okay with both? Because you're like, wait, but I
Yes.
am genuinely happy for them.
Right. Right.
Right. But like, what? So why, like, you're trying to squeeze out any, even if it's like, hey, I'm 80% happy for them and I'm 20% jealous. You're like, but we can't have any of that part.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yes. And then can we welcome the shame or the resistance to feeling that too? Like
Yeah.
it really
Yeah.
becomes really simple. Like you talked about Joe Hudson, which anybody listening highly go listen to his podcast, go listen to YouTube stuff. I actually just went through the connection course they have the last 3 weeks. It was like live partner stuff. It was pretty challenging, but it was fantastic.
Nice.
But he calls it the golden algorithm. Any discomfort that shows up in your life is an opportunity to move through things and become more peaceful or find more joy in your life. So anything that makes you uncomfortable. And like the best example is how you were talking about, like, you're not okay with it in yourself. Think about something that someone said to you that triggered you, that like really bothered you. You would not have been triggered if there wasn't a part of you that thought it was maybe true.
Mm,
If someone came up to you and was like, Herman, you're 3 feet tall, like that wouldn't bother you. You'd
right.
just be like, well, I guess if you were on the shorter side and someone exaggerated, it might. But you get the point. If I was like, you have purple hair and it's just objective, like you've never considered, you'd laugh. Like it would
Right.
just not even register.
Right.
So then the idea is just anything, including judgment of others, any discomfort that comes up, it's your resistance to reality and accepting and fully feeling something that's coming up for you. And it's a really beautiful design because then it becomes, we don't need to go out of our way to improve our life. Just let life bother you. And then anytime something comes up that bothers you, what's going on here? Why,
Mhm.
why is this, what am I avoiding feeling right now? Like, what
Yeah.
don't I like about my experience that is leading to this? And it's super cool.
Yeah. And that like, it goes back to the original question of how do you handle negative Nellies? I mean, if you're confident in what you're doing, ask the question of like, well, why does that even bother me in the first place?
Yeah.
Right? Like, why does that comment bother me? Is it because like I'm actually a little bit unsure
Right.
about what I'm doing here? And I think if you're like, I just don't like when people say that. It's like, then again, think back to, well, why are they saying it? Right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think if you can kind of just try to understand and accept, like, this probably has nothing to do with me. Right. So the only question that really matters is, do I believe in what I'm doing? Right. And okay, I do. That question kind of still bothered me. Okay, so what? Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Right.
that's
Can
a
you be
natural
okay with that?
reaction for someone to question what you did and it kind of bothers you. That's a natural
Yeah.
reaction, right?
Yeah.
But do you have to do anything about it or do you just keep doing what you're doing? Because the vast majority of times, especially when it's like a spouse, a family member, someone who like the reality is with fitness, you're the odd one in our society.
Hmm.
Right? The person who's like trying to prioritize protein and get their workouts in, like we're the weird ones,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like that's the reality. So
Right.
so it's you don't need to make it this big like the person who's like I'm trying to get all my whole church congregation to like get into my workout plan. It's like you don't need to do that.
Right.
Just be the person, right? Live
Yeah.
your own life, be the person, share if they're curious, but don't try to force it on them. And I promise you what's going to happen over time is they're gonna see it, right? They're gonna see like, oh man, but like you've got so much energy and like you're getting stronger and they might they might find different ways to voice it and be doubtful because it makes them feel bad at first, right? And that's okay. Just keep going, keep being confident through it. And over time, I guarantee you, most of the time, what's actually happening is they're going to become more and more curious than
Mhm.
judgmental and be like, "Hey, what is can you tell me about more like the whole protein thing you keep talking about?" Right?
Right.
Or how do you like, "Hey, how do I don't know anything about strength training. What would I what are like a what's like an exercise I would do in the gym?" Right? Like,
Mhm.
and it opens the door for these little tiny conversations,
Yeah.
but that comes from doing this for a very long time. It is not going to happen right away. And you will experience a lot of different reactions and judgment and whatever from other people throughout the beginning part of your journey. It's going to make you question a lot of things. It's going to makes you question if you're actually that person. And that's all totally normal because everyone, which we can kind of wrap this up, but the other weird thing is like people don't like change in general,
Mhm.
right? So when they see you changing,
Yeah.
they don't like that. Whether it's
Yeah.
good for you or not,
Right.
they are comfortable with the version of who you already are.
Yeah.
Because we have an innate fear that when someone changes, when someone improves themselves, when someone evolves, well, what if that new version doesn't like me?
Right. It just comes
Right?
back to that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
even before that, it's just I have a version of reality in my head that makes me feel safe because life is chaos and I try to make sense of it. And you changing fucks that up. And
Yes.
it's uncomfortable for me. Like
Yes.
change is just uncomfortable. And I would also throw in with the whole, like how you were saying, what does this mean about them? What's really going on here? Tune into the feeling in your body that it brings up. Because for me, and I think that's a great line of questioning, when I do that, I end up circling in my head. So tune into what you're actually feeling. And like, I'll be really quick with this, but there's two things. A smaller one, I would say, tune into your body and what you're feeling and like ask yourself, what are some times in my childhood or earlier in life that I remember feeling this?
Mhm.
Because it's usually going to remind you, for example, in this case, I would imagine very common that I'm feeling this feeling of that you don't approve of me, and it was one of your parents. And you would feel this feeling of like, I need to change to be approved of by this person. And it makes me really uneasy for them to not be okay with who I am as I am. And so if you tune in to that, you could just ask yourself, if a memory comes up, what would you have wanted to hear from that caregiver or that person in that time? Or maybe it was an earlier romantic relationship. What would you have preferred they said to you at that time? And then just, I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but it's cool. Just tell that part of you, that feeling inside you, that exact thing you would have preferred to hear at that time. And that's kind of the process of kind of just letting that feeling know, hey, it's okay. Like we're okay. It's okay to feel this way about this person, and then over time, it'll just diminish a little bit. Like each time it's just reps and you'll
Yeah.
be more attuned to yourself and okay with who you are, regardless of what other people think. And just be more connected to yourself. And then plug for the mindset coaching that I include for our clients if they're interested. If it's deeper stuff where it's like you just went through that process and you're like, oh, holy shit. That was a really scary memory with my parents. That like I actually just finished my level 1 with Enlifted this week. And I'm in level 2 now. I just can't get enough. And we do some cool journaling and breath work around those specific experiences. And it's so powerful. It really moves that. And maybe it doesn't ever go away, but it takes the charge out of it. Because in reality, when you step on the scale and you freak out, when you overeat and you freak out, when someone makes a comment about, oh, why do you have to count your protein, and you freak out and it's really bothersome to you, it's not about what's going on.
Mhm.
It's if it's something that's showing up repeatedly very strongly, like maybe it is about one-off instances, but if it keeps showing up in your life, it ain't about the person right now. It's about something in the past that you didn't allow yourself to fully feel, and going back to that. can be really powerful, can be scary, but it's so, so powerful to move through it. So hit us up if you want some coaching.
Yep. I think that's it.
Cool. See you next week.
Thanks, guys.